So, you come to me about more information about the ragu decks, the sauce. What are you trying to do? Win a YCS or something? Benny, the ball's on this man, I tell you. What? Just in case you were serious, I'll do this favor for you. But you will have to do something for me in return. You're normally good on your word, so I might not have to send nobody after you. But until then, relax. Skumada's doing fine. What's going on with ya, big dog? As you already know, it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! Of course, man. I hope your day is going amazing. And if it ain't, don't worry about it. Don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. I actually wanted to bring a very cool topic to you. I thought it was going to be really cool because with the Forbidden List coming up soon, you might want to sneak in, look at some of these strategies. They may go under the radar because not a lot of players are playing them right now. Some of these strategies are proven contenders, but over the last couple of weeks, players have been dropping these strategies like I've been dropped on my head too many times. Probably explains why I think that Rika's a tier 1 deck, right? And of course, if you don't agree with me, I'm always open to hear what you have to say. I'm gonna be using my data and statistics off a Yu-Gi-Oh scope, and then all of the information I've gathered from the last few regionals, and of course the European Championship. So, the general consensus for this format is that Sprite and Tier Element are the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! I genuinely don't understand why people are still saying, it's a tier 0 format, when there are so many other decks in the format that have consistently topped, and some even won. Of course, I'm gonna keep those strategies in mind when I talk about these decks, dog. I got you. And the first deck I want to talk about actually fits the bill of being able to counter all of the other strategies in Yu-Gi-Oh! Despia actually has a long run of being considered as one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! But recently, statistically, it fell off. I think we can attribute this to the meta chasers ditching Despia the moment that they heard about Sprite and Tier Limit and then heard Tier 0. For some reason, they thought it was an easy win. Let's clap them. What makes Despia so good right now is its use of super polymerization. Now, most decks in the format can use and probably should be using super polymerization to fusion summon into the new Garura Wings of Resonant Life. But Despia takes it a little bit further. In case you haven't read Despia Fusion monsters, they require Despia monsters and light and dark monsters. In this particular case, you get a bigger array of cards to fuse into, and you can also still fusion summon into Garura Rings of Resonant Life because it has a good effect. Double damage? Draw one? Sign me up, please. There's also the 4th, 5th, and 6th super polymerization in Fallen Albaz looking ever so spicy. The cards he can fusion summon, including Garura, are also ridiculous. And since we can start expecting players to fear Rivalry of the Warlords because it's one of the most impactful cards right now, players might just start playing decks that only play one type. Just run There Can Be Only One in Despia, forehead. Playing mind games over here, think about it. It's actually crazy how much of a drop-off Despia has seen in the last few weeks, but a strategy that didn't even have a chance to drop off because no one is picking it up is Labyrinth. Now, Tactical Masters is a set that is coming out today if you are an OTS store, so it's kind of unfair to say that no one's playing it when no one could play it. But already as we speak, if we bring up the competitive viability of Labyrinth in Yu-Gi-Oh!, players are just not even gonna look at you right. I personally think that there's some hidden potential just because there's so many great normal trap cards in the game. If we want to keep on the theme of players potentially still being scared because of Rivalry of the Warlords and playing a mono-themed deck, Ice Dragon's Prison can actually be a fairly good card into the format. And I'm personally a bit skeptical, but Compulsory Evacuation Device does seem like a sound Yu-Gi-Oh card. The deck has tons of destruction, tons of recursion, it doesn't search like a conventional deck, so cards like Mistake and Mistaken Arrest, which are really powerful against some of the top decks, doesn't really affect this deck at all. And while I'm still on Tactical Masters, I just want to say that there is no way Konami doesn't implement a Forbidden List before Glue Eaters get their hands on Runics. The Runic cards seem really stupid. You have to skip your battle phase just to activate these effects. I literally will skip any other phase before my battle phase. But one thing that the OCG did not have that the TCG does have is Mystic Moth. Runic at its core is a deck out strategy.
it forces your opponent to banish cards off the top of your deck, and Mystic Mine can stall for an endless amount of time. I mean, you've seen what happened at the European Championship. Mystic Mine literally ran shit. And if you didn't, well, check out my meta-analysis. It lets you know everything that happened and what you probably should be prepared for. I feel like somebody gotta take one for the team and get beat up by the community by playing Mystic Mine Runic. Who's it gonna be? It's not Mad Copium when I say that Sword Soul is ridiculously good in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Players just play bad. I can't be everywhere telling them how to play Sword Soul. It's one of the best decks, if not the best deck.
What makes Sword Soul so good is that it is naturally an amazing deck for going second. This deck was meant to handle the big disruption boards that Sprite can make, and also be able to play around the disruptive abilities that Tearlament can make with ease. A couple of cards that really stand out for Sword Soul to me is Tingy Spirit Vashuda. Just summoning this card to your side of the field elicits a type of response from your opponent. And the other is Boxia Brightness of Yang Zing. This card is really good at breaking up opponents' boards and can still special summon a monster to your side of the field from the graveyard to allow you to keep playing. Sword Soul also makes most hand traps look really stupid right now, especially the ones that players are playing in their main decks. A skilled Sword Soul player can eat hand traps just similarly to how Rocket Dragon Link is extremely good still. I mean, I ain't gonna cap, at this point in time, it's Chaotic Ruler to Chaotic Magical Dragon Turbo, but even when that card gets banned, it's getting banned. I'm not Hopium, you're Hopium. And Copium. You're Hopium and Copium. You're Hokium. Another deck that makes hand traps look ridiculously stupid while also being able to play some of the better hand traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! And technically search them through Chaotic Ruler. You can also keep up in turns with power with dragons when going first. Its first turn boards are actually a little bit more powerful, but watch out for super polymerization. And lastly, I'm gonna keep 10 toes down and say that Rika is still ridiculously good. There is no other strategy in Yu-Gi-Oh! That says tribute your opponent's monsters to summon monsters to your side of the field and gain good effects. The next nearest equivalent would be like summoning Gamseel Sea Turtle Kaiju to your side of the field by tributing your opponent's monster and giving it the ability to be able to disrupt a card. Despite what I'm saying, there are plenty of players saying that Rico won because nobody read. Seriously, when the f does anybody read cards anyways? You know you're lying if you said you read Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Don't act like you did. Veteran players never read. I was born to lead, not read. I do think that players will be a lot more prepared for Rika if that's what you're asking, if they actually read the cards after the event. And stopping Rika Kon might be your best bet. But what if they just, I don't know, activated another one? I don't know, man. It's almost like it doesn't matter if you know what the card does. It still does its effect. I think there's some other good strategies that could really stand a chance, like Mech Knight because people don't pay attention to columns, and Predaplant because it can search super polymerization, but I really want to know what you have to say. And then of course there's always more TheCaliEffect. Click on one of these other videos. It has some amazing content.